Yo. Oh my god. Oh my god. Yes! Yes! I knew it! I knew it! I knew it! I knew it! Yes!
Hands up!
Holy shit, bro! I fucking knew it, bro!
Have fun.
I'm here for you to help take the load off your shoulders.
So, what's the next move, boss?
That's easy enough.
Are you okay?
Yo! Yo! Oh my god! Bro! Bro!
This is
Bro, it
fun.
looks so good!
Flower?
Bro, it looks so good! Oh my god, hey, he looks amazing! Oh my god, bro! Oh my god!
Can you bear to see the planet suffer? Cloud.
That's amazing! Oh my god! Oh my god, bro! Oh my god, good god! Let's go! Yes! I knew it! I told you! I told niggas, bro! I told niggas, bro! I told them! I told them! Yo! I said it, bro! After nearly 4 years since E3 2015, Final Fantasy VII Remake has a new trailer. Guys, I don't think you understand how I feel right now. This is being recorded after State of Play. I did my reaction, as you could see before the video started. In industry analysis, Zong EX was hinting towards a long-awaited third-party game, and it turned out to be FF7. I had a feeling when Shinji Hashimoto was retweeting tweets, and I was just really happy that I was right. I was so happy that it's finally time for the news blowout. Now, with this news blowout, you can expect videos from me in the coming weeks, especially during E3. But before we get into that, all that stuff, you know, all those videos that are going to come out, let's get into what today's topic for the remake is, which will not be gameplay analysis. I was going to do that, but I decided to save that for later. What we're going to do is talk about release date and this episodic nonsense that people keep bringing up. So, let's get into it. Now, when do I, Mr. Quasar D Games, YouTube channel owner, think 7 Remake is going to come out? I think it's going to come out between November and March. Why? The fiasco year earning of Square Enix from a few months ago, I think it was January, thinking about having an influx of money in this fiasco year. This was when they started to do the rearrangements to make the businesses 4 instead of 11 like they had before, and all that extra nonsense. This morning they had another fiasco earning where they lowered their expectations for money that they were going to earn, but they are still expecting an influx from one big game like they did with KH3. That just means something was quietly pushed back to the next fiasco year, but we're still going to get one big game. And some people say Avengers still for some reason. Some people think that the Avengers project is going to come out before Final Fantasy VII Remake. If we had seen an Avengers trailer at State of Play, I'd be on board with you people. But I'm sorry, the 7 Remake is what's going to be that big title that is going to get them the money before the fiasco year ends. Now, they said the reason they pushed back the amount of money they expect is because, like I said, 1 game was pushed out of this fiasco year, and 2, the money won't start pouring in until the start of the next one. So that's why I think it has to be in the November to March region, because that's, I think, the last 3rd or 4th quarter of the fiasco year. That's when the money would start showing up. It would not really show up until the last part of the fiasco year. So, another thing that I did not mention in the initial recording is that Tetsuya Nomura himself got on every social media, the Japanese FF7 Cloud media, the Final Fantasy Twitter, Final Fantasy Facebook, and Final Fantasy Instagram, and said that we have plans leading up till launch. I hope you guys are excited. Why would he say that if it's not launching soon? It makes no sense to have plans up to launch for 2 more years out. It makes no sense. He didn't say this with KH3 when it got its trailer re-reveal in 2017 at the Orchestra. He didn't say we have plans leading up to launch. But it makes perfect sense that it's launching soon if he said those exact words. People are going to keep saying that it's going to be 2040 or 2039 or 2121 or something like that, because it's a joke now at this point with Square Enix, and it shouldn't be, because there was only one game with this problem, Versus 13. I think FF13 had one delay that pushed it from its initial date and pushed it to 2009 in Japan. We in America waited another year, 2010. But I don't think it's they've ever had a game that was delayed so much like Versus 13. And if you know what you know about Versus 13, you'll know it wasn't Tetsuya Nomura's fault. It wasn't Hajime Tabata's fault. It wasn't anyone on the team. It was Square Enix hires up switching people around, the Crystal Tools engine. There's a lot of things going on that was not just the problem of one guy like people are pretending to. So 7 Remake's not in a disastrous state where it's never going to come out. I'm sorry if you don't like Square Enix. That's fine. You know, you don't like their games, you don't like Tetsuya Nomura. I can't convince you to not like I can't convince you to like him. You know, it's not gonna happen because you're stuck in your own little world. But the game's not taking forever. It's coming out next year, and it'll be a complete polished game. And you're gonna say, how is it gonna be a complete polished game, Devontae? It was restarted in 2017, completely halted. Okay, another thing about that. Same thing with the Versus 13 thing. You guys can't go off of some random Reddit user named Dan Tsukasa who said CyberConnect 2's everything was scrapped. They lost everything. They have to start the game from scratch. You can't go off of that stuff. There's no proof. He had no proof of any of that. There's no proof in that interview he had, and it seemed very juvenile from what I remember. If you were a professional, you know, I mean, people come on and call out their companies all the time, you know, for, what's the word? Crunching them. People who leave the companies all the time. But Dan Tsukasa in the interview said he's never worked with Square Enix CyberConnect 2. So that should have told you he didn't know what he was talking about. That should have gave you hints. If he's not working with CyberConnect 2 or Square, how would he know that they lost each other or left on bad terms? There's no proof of this. And until, I forget the president of CyberConnect 2's name. Until he comes out and flat out says, oh yeah, you know, Tetsuya Nomura and his team were off people and they kicked us right off the project and they scrapped everything we worked on and all that stuff. Until that happens, which it never will, so we probably will never know, there's no reason to believe that they restarted the entire development. And there's also proof of them not restarting the entire development, but I'll get into that in a bit. But you guys are misusing one word when it comes to this remake. The word episodic. Let's get into that. Let's drop the term episodic, okay? Let's drop it. Square themselves never used the term episodic. IGN and other American publishers used the word episodic when Square Enix said it will not be one game. People think episodic, they think Telltale's The Walking Dead. They think Life is Strange. They get scared. I know why you get scared, because that type of product was a failure. Telltale's The Walking Dead was an awful failure. Or not Telltale's The Walking Dead, not that specifically, not that specific game. But Telltale went through it. They went through their company gone. They're out of here. They're gone forever because of that type of business practice. No one wants that type of game. So I want you to listen to me and look at me. Look at the screen. Look at the trailer that's playing back and forth on the screen, and tell me, why would Square Enix make their biggest game ever, probably the biggest game ever, this is probably the biggest game of all time, into an episodic bite-sized adventure that you would get piece by piece? Now let's just think about that. It doesn't make any sense. What it's going to be is, think about Final Fantasy 13 and the 10 series. Final Fantasy 10 and 10-2. Not exactly that, because I know some of y'all don't like 10-2. 2 full-size games. Lightning Returns, 13-2, and Final Fantasy 13. 3 full-size games. They're going that route. They're going the Final Fantasy sequels route. They're doing this so they can recreate the game faithfully. They want to remake this game to its fullest potential. Now, you can say, oh, The Witcher 3, I'm trying to name a bunch of open world games. I can only think of The Witcher 3 right now. Oh, Grand Theft Auto 5, Red Dead Redemption 2. Those are all big games. You know, that was on multiple discs. You know, if they can do it, why can't Square Enix? Because none of those games I don't care what anyone tells you, because they're just flat out wrong. None of those games have the amount of unique locations, unique character models, unique because I mean they're obviously gonna lower the amount of character models and all stuff in the remake for NPCs at least. The amount of unique monsters, creatures, caves, level design, none of those are bigger than FF7. Like it's not. There's no open world large scale game, not even Final Fantasy 15. None of those are built to the scale of the unique locations and areas that have to be rebuilt fully in 3D like Final Fantasy VII. So it's going to be a daunting task. They have to remake all of this in fully 3D, and if that means that without losing content and while adding stuff, that they have to split the game into 2 parts, please do it. I'd rather that you do that than we get some. I love 15, but I don't want some type of experience like that for Final Fantasy VII. If you have to chop it up into 2 parts, that's fine. Some think that we're gonna get Midgar only. I can see why you think that, but I really do think that if it's either gonna be 2 or 3 parts, and I think part 1 will be more than just Midgar. I think we'll have more than Midgar, and how much more, I don't know. I think we'll see the open world, not necessarily open world, but you know, world map and those locations and those towns and the first continent, all that stuff. I think we'll see that in part 1. If it's a giant expanded Midgar, I love the hell out of that. See, I wouldn't mind just a giant expanded Midgar where we go to all the sections in some way or some fashion. I doubt we will, because there's not really a reason to go to every section or every area above the plate. But I really would not mind it. Before we go, as there's not much else to talk about, let's talk about the scrapping and restarting development that people think happened. So like I said before, Dan Tsukasa is a liar and you guys shouldn't believe him. The next thing is that if you look at Barrett's model, look at Biggs, Wedge, Jess, look at the locations of the bombing mission, most of the stuff that was at the start of the game, you can tell not much has changed from the original 2015 trailer. Now some lighting has changed, but the overall locations of like the Guard Scorpion boss fight and things like that doesn't seem much different. Barrett's model doesn't seem much different. He still has some added chest hair, and I think the sunglasses are new because you can see his eyes through them now. They're not all blacked out so you can't see his eyes. That stuff is still the same from the 2015 trailer. If it was thrown out and scrapped, why would you need to restart development? And another thing is that screenshots after the article made that said they brought everything in-house, he went to Magic 2017, came out with new screenshots for the game that showed Cloud behind cover, which I'll put on screen, and Barrett and him versus the Guard Scorpion. There'd be no reason to have these screenshots if you threw it out, because they brought everything in-house in January. These things are from March. That doesn't make any sense. Oh, you could argue, oh, they just wanted to show this so they could not worry people, because, you know, Dan Tsukasa said that they started it. Okay, but why would he need to do that? Why wouldn't they just flat out say, yeah, we started development and it's gonna come later than we thought? They've done it before. They sometimes are silent, but they come out to you and tell you what happened with development. They did it with 15, like on several occasions. Hajime Tawada came out and said, sorry about this, but we need more time to fix the game and, you know, add some things and make sure it feels complete, which, you know, it was not that complete. It felt like it was missing stuff, but that's besides the point. They came out and said something. There's no reason for them to lie after they just told us that they're bringing the game in-house. All it is they took what CyberConnect 2 already did. They were probably just not up to the quality that Square wanted for this full-scale remake of their biggest game. Well, that's not their biggest game, because I think 14 and Dragon Quest 3 make more. But one of their biggest games ever. This might be their biggest game ever right now. And if they want it to be the best quality it can be, the best remake it can be, They have to bring it in-house. They can't just let CyberConnect 2 work on it. Well, CyberConnect 2 is fast, quick. They have cool visuals, because I love their visuals from the Storm series. There needs to be more than just cool visuals for this game. This game has to be the best. It just has to. And I think it will be. You will see more videos from me on 7 Remake. I already have one in plans for gameplay analysis. Everyone's already done one, but I really want to get my thoughts on the gameplay out there, because I think some people are missing things. So expect that tomorrow or Wednesday. This is going up late tonight, I assume, but whenever it goes up, you'll get the gameplay analysis a couple of days after or the day after. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and peace out from Crazy Games, everybody. It feels good to be back. It feels good to be back, my friends. I'm so happy to be doing videos again. I just needed a spark. And I'll be doing videos on Kingdom Hearts 3 also, which I never did a playthrough. Don't worry, I'll be fixing that with critical mode soon, I promise. I'm sorry about that. Alright, thank you guys so much for watching, and peace from Crazy Games, everybody.